have the feeling that you play the same old jazz lines all the time over and over again and that you've run out of ideas? Well, in today's jazz lesson, I'm going to give you new perspectives by using the half diminished chord and arpeggio. Hi, my diligent little jazz bees all over the world. Sandra Sherman here. Greetings from Austria. You will learn several half diminished chord voicings and arpeggios, and we'll actually do a lot of surprising magic using half diminished arpeggios over different chord types. We'll then apply everything you've learned over a 2-5-1 chord progression in minor. You can download the lesson material from the links down below in the description box. Please read the short download instructions right next to the link. All right, now let's apply some half diminished magic. Let's check out some essential half diminished theory first. I'll keep it super short, I promise. The symbol for the half diminished chord is a cycle with a line going through it. It also runs by the name minor 7 flat 5 chord. This name already indicates how it's constructed. We have the root, a minor third because it's a minor chord, a flat 5 and a flat 7th. So it's basically just a minor 7th chord with a flatted 5th. Oh, I'm glad you made it through the theory. Now here's a D half diminished voicing from the A string. We have the root in bass, the D. The flat 5th is always one to the right on the next string. The flat 7th always 2 strings below. And the flat 3rd is on the B string 6th fret. Did you know that we can play an entire 2-5-1 minor cadence using only this one chord? Here is how. We are in the key of C minor, and the 2 is a D half diminished. The 5 chord is a G altered. It needs to be altered because it resolves back to a minor chord. And here is a C minor 7 chord, okay? So those are different chord types. And now, here comes the magic. If we move this D half diminished chord 3 frets to the right, we get 1, 2, 3, an F half diminished, right? But if we analyze it against a G7 chord, now what do we get? We get the 7th in bass, F is the 7th of G7, the B is the 3rd, perfect, E flat is the flat 13 or sharp 5, and we said we need an altered chord. This is an altered tone, perfect. And the A flat is the flat 9, another altered tone. So beautiful. But hey, the magic isn't over yet. If we move that same voicing 4 frets to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, we get an A half diminished. And played against the now appearing C minor, or here, we get a C minor 6 chord, all in all. All right? That's a C minor 6 chord now. And that's a very modern kind of sound. Now let's listen to how this whole thing sounds against the rest of the band. Since these half diminished chords produce a lot of wanted tensions over the altered chord and also over the minor 6 chord, we want them to sound higher actually, because it could get pretty low using this voicing. So let's check out the upper voicing with its inversion, okay? We have a D half diminished up here. That's the 12th fret, the D, 13, 13, 13. Barred over. You could also play it on 0, 1, 1, 1. Same thing. And now the first inversion is has the 3rd in bass, so that's the 3rd fret also. 5, 3, 4. And you gotta memorize the root. The root is here, the D. So this voicing, this shape has the root here. If you don't know that, you cannot move it across the fretboard, okay? Now if you want to have an F half diminished with this voicing, you search for your root, it's here, move it to F, F is, oh here, sorry, and here is your F half diminished voicing. Okay, let's stick to D, okay, for simplicity. D half diminished. Second inversion, the D is here now on the 7th fret of the G string, but we start on the 6th fret, 7, 6 by barring, and 8. So second inversion has the 5th in bass, 5th of the chord, I mean. Flat 5th, actually. Alright? And then we have the third inversion, and this one's this guy. I guess you know this chord, and you just move the root up 2 octaves. So we have 10, 10, 9, 10, and the root is here on top. All right? So. Those are the 4 upper chords. Now, since we already substituted a 2-5-1 in C minor with half diminished chords, now let's apply the same thing for solo improvisation. We simply use the chord tones of the half diminished chords. So here is a half diminished arpeggio starting from the A string. All right, D, the minor third is the F, flat 5th is the A flat, flat 7th is the C. This chord plus this note. Then the next octave, D, I take my middle finger instead of the ring. F, A flat, C. So this combines this chord and this one. All right, because this one is from this chord. Right, so 3 chords combined to an arpeggio. Now let's use it over an entire 2-5-1 chord progression in C minor by applying our magic formula. 3 frets to the right for the 5 chord and 4 more frets to the right for the 1 minor chord. Here's a half diminished lick using a motif. Alright, I just use exactly what we've learned, the D half diminished arpeggio, but I phrase it in a jazzier way. I start on one end with the D, one end, now a triplet follows, triplet, and the second octave goes in regular 8 notes. 1 and triplet, 3 and 4 and now move everything up 3 frets. 1, 2, 3, and I play a little motif. The same arpeggio, but I don't play the arpeggio just backwards, I play a little motif. Right? Once again. So I double the B string. And I repeat that motif 4 frets to the right for the C minor chord, alright? 1, 2, 3, 4, and we get on the A half diminished arpeggio. And now I add a little something because the C minor lasts 2 bar. The 1 chord usually lasts twice as long. I want to target that G here on the 12th fret. And I do an enclosure. I enclose it by playing semitone above, semitone below. Now I slide into that chord tone, the G, and then I end on the E flat, another chord tone. All right, here's the entire example number 2, lick number 2 at a slow tempo. 3, 4, 1. We don't always want to move a single half diminished chord horizontally across the fretboard, but also stay within a given area and change the arpeggio shape. Therefore, we need to know the arpeggios from the E, A, and D strings. Now, the half diminished arpeggio from the E string has this chord and this chord, and we start on the root D, half D, F, A flat, C. Next octave, D, F, A flat, C, and some more D and F is also possible. So this is the entire arpeggio from the E string. And here's the chord from the D string and the arpeggio from the D string. Starting on D, 12th fret, F. Now I move my index to the right because we have a shift in position. 13th fret, 13, 15, 13, 16. Right, now we mix those arpeggios together. I start with that from the A string, and I have a pickup, a G to A flat, that leads me into the A flat, the flat 5 of the chord. Now I do an enclosure. I want to enclose this D. I have the D in mind, and I approach it via half tone above, semitone below, target tone. I actually slide into the D. See, I play around, so you don't have to always play the arpeggio straight upwards, downwards. You can also play around it, and we call this enclosures. Now I go up the arpeggio, and now it's for the G altered chord. We play the F, half diminished arpeggio, and I choose the closest one is this. Right, so I go this one backwards. First I have a pull-off, then I go this back one, stretch a little to the 4th fret. 6, 4, 4, 6, right? And now I can go directly for the C minor chord to that A, for the A half diminished arpeggio. Right? A, C, E flat, G. Then I do an enclosure. Sorry. I want to enclose that A, so I start a half tone above. The G is like this G, that's the scale tone below, semitone below, and here is my target tone, and now I go back the arpeggio. Right? Here is everything at slow tempo for you. 3, 4. Alright, we are now up here on the fretboard and we have the D half diminished from the E string arpeggio, but we start on the D string actually, and I chromatically approach this D by the C, which belongs to the arpeggio, but there's a chromatic in between, C, D flat, D. And again I do my jazz phrasing, 1 and triplet, 1 and triplet. This is the next tone. What is this? A flat, C, D. Just the arpeggio up with this chromatic in between. Going to B flat to slide into the B, which is a a chord tone of that F half diminished arpeggio. Okay, and the F half diminished arpeggio is the one from the A shape. So here's that B, right? Go down to the 9th, 10, chromatic, to the 8, 9, 11. And then a little enclosure for the target note, that A is for the A half diminished of the C minor chord, okay? And so I enclosed it by from below, above, slide into the target tone. And now I play up that A half diminished arpeggio. Little rest, and now a little phrasing again. Still that same arpeggio. E flat, C, A, G, E flat. And 1 and triplet. Alright? Here's the entire phrase number example 4 at slow tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Alright, I hope you like this video. Give it a fat thumbs up. Please check out my chord lessons playlist. That's what I want to say. Chord playlist. And share the love and the knowledge. I hope to see you next week. Servus. Bye-bye.